Butler one time he put on the pit board as his second moto at Gatorback. He said, rest tomorrow.
Okay.
They've got the whole offseason is coming up. There's only 2 races left of this championship. Time to go for it.
So here it is. Fly Racing 30-second card is up. Eli Tomac, it'll be his last race with Kawasaki. He's trying to win 3 in a row to end this championship this year. Ferrandis is your champ. Cooper Webb, your fast qualifier. Revs are up. Let's go racing at Hangtown. And Webb shoots out of the gate. He's got Ferrandis though on the inside.
Whoa.
And Rock's in there as well. They almost collide.
That was a Webb sandwich right now. I can't believe he kept the KTM on 2 wheels. Roxon so quick out front. And look, Ferrandis has to shut down because Roxon shut him down. And Ferrandis lost a couple of spots.
Well, then Cooper loses spots. And here's the big mover. Christian Craig coming up about 5th to 2nd in that exchange.
Whoa,
You've got Tomac and Shock right there.
Look at him hard on the brakes trying to get the bikes turned because it is such an off camber where the turn is falling away from you and there is such little traction to be had.
Cannot believe how much passing we've watched in these first 4 or 5 corners. Ferrandis trying to get back around Craig for 2nd. Tomac getting around Webb for 4th.
Yeah, Webb saying the same thing. I can't believe how many passes are happening. But it's me.
Yeah. Wrong direction.
I think Webb is one of the riders to beat, but he has fallen back to 5th right now. And let's see what he has as we focus on the 2 Yamaha riders.
Well, Webb just greased that inside of that corner to get Tomac back. He was sliding the front end all the way through.
Short line right there, too.
Ferrandis now locking down 2nd over his teammate Craig. Webb, he's motivated. He didn't like getting passed like that. He's coming right back.
There's a split section right here also. Looking for those emerging lines that I was talking about. But, I mean, the last few races, it's been Tomac. He has been the guy to beat. But little by little, the number 2 there in that white gear, the Red Bull KTM, that orange bike, Cooper Webb, has started to find his groove once again. Now remember, he's a champion in the 250 class, a former champion.
Yeah, exactly. The book on Webb after 2 Supercross titles, but only 1 race win total on a 450 outdoors is, he's just a Supercross guy, but he does have a 250 Motocross championship to his credit, and he's coming back strong after Craig and actually getting back away from Tomac. And how about Cody Shock, who's actually there camped down in the rear fender of Eli as we're getting ready to complete the first lap.
Well, that's the place to be if you want to. If you're looking for a ride for next year and you're Cody Shock and you go out and you chase down Eli Tomac right now, that's certainly going to look good on your resume.
Okay, so 1 lap complete, no surprise. Roxon is the leader. He has always been good in the first lap, but the last couple of weeks, it is elevated to performance art. What Roxon can do on the first lap of a motocross race, he's gone.
Great look here from our Parts Unlimited drone.
Ooh, Webb trying to get Craig. That's the battle for 3rd. Then Ferrandis, and Roxon's already headed back downhill.
Well, this track crew has gone out and worked on this track with the dozers, and you notice they're using some of these outside lines, pretty wet, but they've bladed the track in a lot of spots where they've cut down all of the ruts that would have been there from the final qualifying practice was actually the 250s. And then there were 2 consolation races. Also, they've smoothed the track back out. It's pretty flat. Look for it to get drier as the day goes on. So right now, the track not quite in the condition that's going to allow these riders to set the fastest lap times. Now, as we speak, though, right now, our fastest lap, well, we haven't got around to have a full lap. We still about half a lap to go before we're going to get that lap time that I was spouting off about. It was a little premature.
Webb just shoots by Craig to retake 3rd. So, yeah, Webb was battling for the whole shot. Got passed by about 4 riders immediately and is systematically getting a lot of those spots back. He repassed Tomac. He repasses Craig. And Webb, the motivation here late in the series, you have to be impressed. It was a lost summer for him. No shot at the championship. Really didn't look like he had a shot at race wins or even podiums. But he kept digging, making big bike changes, and he's been much better the last 2 races. Now Tomac putting pressure on Craig.
Whoa.
Come together.
Put more than pressure on him. Yeah. Push the side of the Kawasaki into him there. It's like they high-five Monster Energy logos.
Oh, okay.
But then Tomac comes out on top right there. See how wet that is? Right there, they've just... It's hot today. It's dry up here in NorCal. They know that they have to put down a lot of water on the track to keep it from getting super dusty. The unfortunate thing here is that today the 450s are running before the 250s. Normally the 250s would have these track conditions. Watch right here as Tomac slides into Craig, just kind of nudges him out of the way. Nothing real malicious, if you will, there. Just nice block pass.
And Tomac coming to life, trying to chase Webb back down. This is 3rd and 4th, with Ferrandis up ahead of the number 2 spot. And the gauntlet throw down by Roczen is a 2:17.7. Fastest on track right now, 2:17.9 for Ferrandis in the number 2 position. Well, the 4 riders that we expected to battle today are the 4 riders up front. Tomac, Webb, Ferrandis, Roczen. So we have a nice setup here.
Well, and to give you an idea of how fast one could ride this track, is that if you were on the same bike as Cooper Webb right here, that Red Bull KTM, Jason,
similar.
If the bike would do a 2:12.3. Cooper Webb in the first qualifying earlier today, the track was so good. It was super tacky. It was smooth. It was fast. But right now, a 2:17.7 is the fastest lap from anyone, and that's by Ken Roczen. So, I mean, think about that. That's 5 seconds a lap slower on the exact same track.
Yeah,
just because of the conditions, yeah.
Tomac went to the outside there, actually jackknifed the front and lost a little bit of ground. It looked like he was ready to challenge Webb. Now he's got to make a few bike lengths up. And Craig's still lurking in the number 5 spot.
A lot of lines to be had. They're using a lot of outside lines in spots because those insides are still a little bit wet and muddy, a little greasy, if you will. But as this moto goes on and more riders go across the surface, they kind of pick up that wet stuff and work it in. This section's really wet right through here. See how much mud's flying out. But look what Tomac just did. He kind of triples, if you will. Where earlier, or lap or so ago, I caught Cooper who goes to the inside. He's only doing a little double there. When you triple, it's like you just carry your momentum. The only downside is that you have to go outside to do that, so you're giving up a little bit of distance to try to make up some speed.
Been a lot of talk this year about how the tracks have been prepped for the most part. You and I talked about it at length yesterday. It doesn't have the super deep ruts.
You don't normally talk about track prep that much.
No, I know. It's not really a topic of yours. As we go back to Roczen, our leader. So this is Roczen. We're going to talk up to him. He is your race leader. We'd like to go out a winner. Roczen leads the way. We'll talk about the track conditions when we return. We might have a battle on our hands as Roczen is about to engage in battle with Ferrandis.
Hi, I'm Ken Roczen, and you're watching the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship on MAP TV.
And you see Ferrandis starting to lurk back there behind Roczen. That's what I've been calling the danger zone all year. Once you start to see that front fender poke into the screen, lurking about this distance, it has been almost impossible this year for anyone to hold him off. He is so strong later in the races. And you can say the same thing about Eli Tomac. He is caught Webb again.
Yeah, and when I was sitting at home watching these races earlier this summer, Jason, and we get to a commercial, and I still got the Peacock broadcast right here. You're getting to see all the action. And right now you've got Ferrandis starting to close up a little bit on Roczen. And Tomac doing the same. Is it possible that we get all 4 of these riders together before the end of this moto?
That's what we'd like to see. Everyone wondering, will we see this 450 field with the title wrapped up really leave it all out on the track? Will we get good action or not? This is a critical juncture. If Tomac and Webb can close in on the lead group, we could have a 4-rider freight train.
Well, and what that does with Tomac applying this pressure to Webb is it really gives him the incentive, the motivation to keep pressing, right? When you don't have any pressure from behind, you have a tendency to just kind of ride your race and like get into a groove. But here, he's got Tomac there that is starting to creep up, and especially now that these guys are on these 450s here the last decade or so, it's like you hear that bike back behind you. And they work so hard. These riders put in so much effort, you know, they're not going to give it up, that's for sure. And Webb, he's got a lot to prove right now to get himself back in the talk of this championship, if you will.
Yeah, because he has not been on pace like this most of the year. Lucas Oil Pro Motocross here. MAV TV also brings you Moto America live. 160-mile-an-hour knee-dragging action. American road racing, so don't miss the Super Sports Series. Check mavtv.com for Moto America broadcast times. Here in Motocross, Ken Roczen on the Honda HRC machine leads the way. That has become standard issue. His first laps have always been a strength, but the last couple of weeks, it has been unbelievable what Roczen has done on the opening lap. He established the lead early in this one, and now Dylan Ferrandis, you see the number 14 in second, is closing a bit. Last time around, Ferrandis was about 0.7 of a second quicker in the lap time.
Well, Jason, I'm really interested to see if Ken Roczen can close out one of these motos here. Unfortunately, the MO lately has been great start, fast lap time for about 15 or 20 minutes. And then by the time we get to the end of the moto, he just falls off the pace. If he does this right now, I mean, it's only about 5 seconds back to Tomac right now. Our top four are, I mean, Webb is just out of this drone shot. Well, actually, Tomac, we're hearing timing and scoring showing that there could have been a change there for third, but
we'll see it right here.
Well, there they are right there. They're not that far behind.
Yep, Webb's still holding Tomac off. Hey, before we went to break, we were talking about the track conditions yesterday. The way they prep these tracks this year, you don't see the huge, deep ruts in the corners, and you said you actually like it this way.
Well, I do, and that's just my opinion, but I'm not the guy that's out that's out there racing. The riders on the track that are doing battle, it's up to them, but it seems like there's a small split, but the purpose is that the tracks are flatter, so there's more usable. Some riders like it deeper where there's ruts all the way across. So it's really what is your preference? My preference is I think the track looks beautiful today. I wish I was out there battling with Roczen and Ferrandis right now.
Well, you said you're hoping that the track prepped up the way it was will lead to some good racing, and I think we've got that on our hands right now as Ferrandis has closed down on Roczen. This has been the playbook between these two all year. Roczen good at the beginning, and Ferrandis gets stronger later. And how about it? Nearing the halfway point of this moto, they're almost wheel to wheel.
Yeah, now, I've been in this situation before, and I'll tell this quick story here. In '97, I wrapped up the title 1 week before the end, so we went to Steel City. So Ferrandis is in that same place right now. There's not the pressure of the title. You can just ride purely on your skill and your determination. But also, I mean, you're the guy. You're the newly crowned champion, and there's some pride in that, too. It's like you're just doing your thing, but you don't have the pressure of trying to worry about the title. And so that's where Ferrandis is riding from right now. Just a pure joy of riding his motorcycle.
Tomac has taken third from Webb. We can show you the replay here of how he made that pass. Been stalking him for about 3 laps here. And then he sees he's in third, so we'll show you the replay.
Top of your screen, big spot though. This through the first turn area. Tomac just on that little double that's the finish line. It looks like he just kind of teed him up and was able to make a tighter turn, take a shorter line, and take third place and set his sights on the newly crowned 450 Pro Motocross champ. Let's see what sort of race we have shape up here and if Tomac can close that time up.
Well, Ferrandis keeps putting in 2:16 laps. Everyone else in this group up front running 2:17. So Ferrandis has been the quickest. We'll see if Tomac, now that he's no longer trying to pass Webb, can start to close as Roczen holds Ferrandis off. First half of this lap, Ferrandis was getting right there. Second half of this lap, Roczen actually got a little bit of a gap back.
What a beautiful look of this track here in Northern California at Hangtown.
And they're going to run through here. This is mechanics area. After this right-hand turn, we'll get another idea of the stopwatch. And then we'll also see if Tomac, with a clear track, the next time around, can get closer. Battle is on between Roczen and Ferrandis for the lead. I talked to Ferrandis yesterday. Said he only rode once this week, which is less than usual. Stayed in California, didn't go back to Florida, where he lives now, and had a cheat meal. I couldn't quite understand what it was. Some sort of French thing with cheese on top of potatoes.
Though, you said? He's not allowed to have cheese? He's French.
No, normally you have cheese, potatoes, and chocolate. But he left the chocolate off. Oh. Still went with the cheese and potatoes.
I would have had the chocolate this week for sure. He earned it. He's trying to earn himself another win right now, but as we're closing in on the halfway mark in 15 minutes, we know there's certain things you can do in 15 minutes. For Ferrandis, he is trying to win this moto in the next 15 minutes. But, Jason, what else can you do?
Jeff, you've been here 3 weeks in a row. You know what you can do. You tell me.
Oh, you save 15% or more on your motorcycle, probably car, RVs, all that.
Oh, yeah. All the
Just check out Geico.
Yep, 15-minute phone call will do it. But you want to watch this last 15 minutes here because the moment, where's it going to come? Ferrandis looking for an opening on Roczen. You can see the fans getting fired up over this battle. Ferrandis on the inside. Roczen holds him off. Run around the outside now from Ferrandis.
Well, and you got to wonder, how hard is Roczen going to fight for this, right? He's out of the championships done, all that. So this is purely the pride of being a motorcycle racer. And can he dig deep enough to fend off this attack that Ferrandis is throwing down right now? I mean, to me, this is a Roczen style of track. I've been to Ken Roczen's place in Germany where he grew up racing, hard pack. I mean, he knows these type of conditions. And now we're starting to get into a little bit of lapped riders too. And so who can be the most savvy about picking your way through the lapped riders and just squeaking by a rider before you get into maybe a one-line section and things like that to use it to your advantage.
Roczen successfully dealing with the pressure from Ferrandis for a couple of laps now. And we'll also see if Tomac is able to close. He did. Tomac ran a 2:16.2 last time around, and we're about to get another lap time here as we click off another lap. You can see the green machine in the background starting to close. Tomac just put in a 2:14.5, a 2:14.5. That's a second and a half faster than the rider in front of him, Ferrandis.
That is insane. I mean, Tomac's ability here in pro motocross, and it seems like he can drop the hammer. With that term, drop the hammer, he just did that. And he could make this. Okay, remember I was talking about if you can get through some lapped riders in some little sections? I thought Roczen was going to be able to use that to his advantage. Watch right here. If he squeaks by, and if Ferrandis gets, no, he gets by also.
Oh, Tomac is down. So he put in the burner lap, and then he goes down to see Webb just snuck by as well. So that's a big shakeup.
Well, and that's in that second off camber where it's a right-handed off camber. Track falls away to the left. Just asking too much from what the tires and the grip of that Kawasaki could deliver.
Well, we'll have a replay of it here. Oh, bummer. We thought we were about to have a big battle materialize.
I want to see if he catches a rock or something. Oh, he just gets just a little too far outside of his line. And, I mean, we're talking, it only takes an inch. And there was just a little bit of dirt clods there, a little bit of rocks, and just missed his line by a little bit. So it's going to cost him, well, we'll have to see when he comes by just how far behind he is.
Well,
normally
the overall,
a fall like that's usually about 8 seconds, 7 seconds.
It's enough to lose third to Webb. And if you're Tomac, you want to at least have a shot at the overall going into Moto 2. Big difference seen finishing third and fourth. So can he pick it back up and go after Webb? Ferrandis just keeps lurking here with Roczen, but Roczen successfully holding him off. Then just outside those battles, with Tomac in fourth, still Craig fifth. Schock, Hartraff, Noren, Surratt, and Rodbell round out the top 10. Here's an opening for Ferrandis right here. Not enough.
It looks like to me that Roczen has really held his line, ridden his line, and just tried to perfect that. Remember my keys to the Moto, my KTM keys to the Moto were find some emerging lines. Well, Ferrandis has been out there looking around. He's been scouting out new lines each time around. And while he's doing that, even if he found a bad line, he still hasn't lost any time. And that's such a confidence booster when you're the guy behind and you can go anywhere on the track.
Well, around the outside, Ferrandis going to go uphill, putting another rider a lap down.
Watch the inside. He's going to come.
Oh, not quite close enough. Roczen a good drive around the outside to hold him up, but you can see Ferrandis is no longer lurking. He is attacking. Doing a tiptoe around this off camber on the inside. Lines almost come together. Roczen holds the lead.
Yeah, you're going to see Roczen ride a lot of the insides in certain spots here. Try to close that down. And if Ferrandis, if you want to go by, you're going to take the long way around. Don't give it up easy, that's for sure.
Looking at Webb in third, and then the lap time for Tomac ended up being a 2:33. So he went from a 2:14 super duper fast lap to 2:33 with that crash. So he lost a lot of time
like 20 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
It took him a while to get up. Yeah, normally you fall down, you're back up within 10 seconds. That's twice the amount of time. That cost him big time.
Yep. So he's going to have a lot of work to do. He's 8 seconds down on Webb. And Ferrandis was putting the attack on. But again, this section of the track seems to work better for the 94. It opens up just a couple of bike lengths. It's enough where Ferrandis cannot show him a wheel. Is Roczen going to be able to hold on to it with about 10 minutes and 2 laps to go? Moto 1 at Hangtown. So that section, once they first start going uphill, all the way over to here, seems to be advantage Roczen. And then the last couple of laps, Ferrandis has been able to close it back down through this sector.
Yeah, we're into some traffic now too, Jason. There's definitely some lap riders that could play a part, and especially it's bad enough when there's one, or I should say difficult enough. Bad's a bad term to use. But when there's multiple guys, it's like one guy thinks he goes this way and he goes the other way. And let's face it, sometimes when you're lapping riders, especially where Roczen and Dylan Ferrandis are at right now, if they start to lap deep into the field, if you start to get around that 20th position, all of a sudden these guys are no longer just racing for position, but they're racing for championship points once you hit 20th. Okay, and hey, they have all the reason in the world to be battling for their own spots, right? So they don't make it easy to get by, even if the blue flag is flying.
Right, the instinct might be, well, they should just pull over and the leaders go by. You have someone breathing down your neck. On your lap, you're not going to do that.
No.
Ferrandis is right back to the rear wheel of Roczen. This will be the story. This area they're headed to next, Roczen has been able to pull back away from Ferrandis. Let's see if he can do it again.
Do you ever wonder, like how is it like these guys have eyes in the back of their head, right?
I do wonder that.
And it all has to do with your instincts and like listening, and you can tell where the bikes are at. He's got a good drive right here.
Oh, and Roczen knew it. He could feel it. He could sense it. Oh, Ferrandis is there again. Roczen tried to go as close to the inside as he could to hold him down. It is on right now. MAV TV live coverage. Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Dylan Ferrandis on the 14. Looking for an inside line on Ken Roczen. Not able to make the pass. Roczen holds the lead.
Wow, that was so close so many times right there. Roczen had some lap riders to deal with. But right now, the new champ, Dylan Ferrandis, on that blue Yamaha, it's like he can do anything on the motorcycle that he wants to.
He's got it down the inside. Absolutely. He got those jumps figured out. He knew he was already on the right side. If he could just get through that roller section quick enough to get side by side, he'd have it, and he does.
Well, this has kind of been the story in the second half of this championship, is Roczen has started out so good and fast and just looks like he's out there riding really easy on a Saturday afternoon cruise. But about the 20-minute mark is when Roczen's fitness or his speed just doesn't seem to match up with either Dylan Ferrandis or Eli Tomac of late.
And Ferrandis already starting to stretch it out. Let's send it down to Ashley.
We saw Ken Roczen struggle a little bit with the heat last weekend at Fox Raceway. So today on the siding lap, he actually wore an ice vest to keep that core part of his body nice and cool before they took off for the Moto, to see if that would help him deal with the heat and being out there at this intense racing level that they are at. That's something that really is a struggle for a lot of these riders, and we noticed it significantly last weekend at Fox Raceway. Let me tell you guys, it's not any cooler here today. It's very warm.
We haven't asked Ashley enough about her level of fatigue as the year has gone on. She's out there in those conditions as well. Meanwhile, Webb still holds third over Tomac. Craig Schott, Hartraft, Surratt, LeMay, Rodbell. That is the top 10. Then it's Anstie, Noren, Bogle, Wageman, and Scott Meshy rounding out the top 15.
Well, Jason, I mean, I probably have a different attitude and mentality about heat altogether, because I absolutely loved it during my racing career. Hotter the better. Like, I want it to be as hot and humid and nasty as it could possibly be. Man, if I saw another rider, one of my competitors, that was wearing an ice vest going to the line for Moto 1, not even Moto 2, I would be like, okay, mentally, I've got him beat.
Okay, let's
right?
give you the Motorsport whole shot replay. This is spectacular. Roczen has the ice vest off now, and him, Ferrandis, and Webb, what a duel.
Yeah, great shot here from that Parts Unlimited drone, but as it come across the line, is going to be Ferrandis, barely.
They actually give it to
Roczen
by 16 thousandths.
I mean, that could be the difference of where the transponder was mounted on the bike or which way the handlebars were turned. I want a new result.
Oh, okay. All right.
In my heart, I'm giving it to Ferrandis. But the stat says
okay,
we're giving it to Roczen.
The eye test, you say Ferrandis. I never thought about that. The transponder is usually behind the number plate, either on the right or left side. So, yeah, just turn those bars. Push that thing forward.
I mean, if it's the difference of that small amount of time, that's got to be like 3 inches maybe, right? So
that could make the difference. So Roczen here in second. He's all alone because Tomac has gone down. He's still in fourth behind Webb. At one point, we were bracing ourselves for a big Tomac charge. Craig is fifth. Shock comes through next. Brandon Hartraft is in a Twisted T. HEP Suzuki will be the next rider in line. So Roczen looking for a rebound. It has been a tough couple of weekends for him physically. Circulating in the number 2 spot right now, but all the pressure will begin to rise for the 250 class. Justin Cooper mathematically still a shot at the 250 National Motocross Championship, but it appears to be Coronation Day for Jet Lawrence if he can deliver their first motos top of the hour. So there's the Lawrence crew getting ready for their first moto. Again, 250s will race last today to make that championship that's still alive a grand finale for the season. So our final moto of the day will be 250 Moto 2. Dylan Ferrandis making the first 450 moto here at Hangtown look a whole lot like a lot of other motos at a lot of other tracks this year. He has rolled out. 3 seconds is the gap between he and Roczen.
Yeah, he has found a rhythm to combine with his skill and his fitness and the amount of hard work that he's done and dedication, and with him and the team and everybody, that, you know, you get to this place, it's like everything's just working your direction, you know, everything. And that's why he's your newly crowned champion. You just can't say enough either about this Star Racing team who took on the 450 program, which was in-house, if you will, at Factory Yamaha in Cypress, California. Bobby Regan and the team decided to add to their 250 team, add a 450 team, and not just any 450 team, have 3 riders, Dylan, Craig, Plessinger, and all the work that they've done preparing the machines and all the shared information that they have had as far as the setup has worked just fantastic. And Dylan Ferrandis being their newly crowned champion, they couldn't be more happy about taking that risk and bringing this team on.
The team decided to move early. They purchased Ricky Carmichael's goat farm in Cairo, Georgia, and the plan was to really get situated there in the offseason, but they decided to go there early. It's been a big sacrifice for everybody to shack up in Florida with very little warning. Dylan Ferrandis, your new champion of 450 motocross this year, leading here in our finale of the year. And since it's our finale, a little celebration when our race day is over. If you're watching us with the Peacock app with NBC, we'll have a half hour of post-race coverage on Peacock where we'll interview some riders, hand out some special awards and trophies. I don't believe we've ever done that before, so a little bonus coverage if you're watching via Peacock. And Dylan Ferrandis will certainly get his accolades at that post-race show, which is brought to you by motorsport.com.
Well, I sure hope that we have some B-roll from the championship celebration from Star Yamaha last week at Fox Raceway, because Ferrandis and his crew, they know how to celebrate. They were out of control, as they should be. And right now, leading this first moto.
Cooper Webb here on the Red Bull KTM is third. And is Tomac really catching him? Not really. In fact, the last time around, Tomac a 220 lap and a 219 for Webb. So Tomac was really finding his groove, starting to close on the leaders, tipped over. And since he's dropped back to fourth, he's not really been able to catch Webb.
Yeah, Webb right now, who's putting in an awesome ride. He really has. His lap times have been pretty consistent and all that, but he's 20 seconds off of the lead all of a sudden. I mean, he's putting in a great ride, and yet Ferrandis is just that much better right now.
Yeah, that's the head scratcher for everybody. How do they solve this Ferrandis situation? As for Webb, as we'll hold here to show you the gap between he and Tomac, it's pretty sizable. As I had said earlier in the Moto, you know, Webb could have really given up on the year the title was lost. He was really not a contender, and he just kept digging and digging. And I think that some of the motivation, I think is fairly clear. Webb took a huge risk. He has left, as you watch Tomac come through, the Alden Baker training program, which has been a big part of many championship campaigns for a long time. He now rides at Chad Reed's old track, which they call the 83 compound. And I've got to imagine that for Webb to convince KTM to let him leave and then go out there and struggle at the beginning of the year, there was pressure on Webb to prove he had made the right decision, and I believe that's why he's still working so hard to pick up the game late in the year. I'll tell you who's working hard right now. Christian Craig is catching Eli Tomac.
Yeah, now last time around, he was not as quick as Tomac. Tomac was a 220, Craig was a 221, but here we go across the finish line, and those numbers are going to change significantly where Tomac was a 227 to Craig's 221. So Craig didn't do anything different. Tomac's the one that really dropped off the pace at a 227. Keep in mind, Tomac's fastest lap is the fastest lap of the Moto by anyone by a long ways at a 214.5, and he just turned to 227. I mean, that's way off the pace. So I wonder if something happened. Has Tomac lost his focus? Is there issue possibly with the machine?
Craig still hounding him. See hometown Temecula, California. So we were mentioning the Star Racing Yamaha team during our break. Everyone has moved. Generally, everyone is living in the Tallahassee, Florida area, and then they ride at Ricky Carmichael's old goat farm, which is right on the Florida-Georgia line. That's not just a band. That's also where these motocross tracks for a lot of riders are located. Cairo,
many
Georgia.
times, yeah.
Florida-Georgia line.
Just a big commitment by Star Racing to do that, and you know, it's not like they don't have the ability to have testing and practicing sessions out on the West Coast, but being isolated in Tallahassee, you can really get focused and get your work done.
Okay, so here's Cody Schock, who's ridden a great ride, started about 6th and has stayed there the whole time, but he is about to have company. Brandon Hartraft is a lap rider in between. Hartraft's on that yellow Twisted Tea Suzuki. And pretty funny, these two go way back. Schock out of Delaware, Hartraft out of New Jersey. They actually grew up racing each other, mostly in New Jersey at Raceway Park, which is Englishtown. I know you rode there a couple times, Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
That's
legendary track.
Absolutely. So these two grew up racing at that track, and here they are probably about 10 years later.
Well, now last time around, it was Schock that had the quicker lap time by about 0.6 of a second. Okay, Hartraft looks like he's catching him a little bit now, so we've got about another quarter lap to go before we get another lap time out of these riders. But Brandon putting in a strong ride here this moto, and I mean, let's see if he's there's a little less than 2 laps. Well, 2 laps to go. See if he can make that move and close up that gap.
Now, we've been talking about Schock, what he's doing as a privateer. They get a little support from Honda here and there, none of the cool factory parts. Similar story for Hartraft. This is Suzuki's premier effort, but they don't have any of the works parts from Japan. They do get some help from Suzuki in general as far as replacement parts and motorcycles and things like that. But you have a real privateer behind them, just operating his own thing, and that is Ryan Surratt. He's become a veteran these days, second-generation rider, even does some off-road races. Surratt's been pretty quick as of late. He is in the top 10. Be the next rider in line.
Yeah, there he is.
Nice job by Surratt here. He is in 8th place.
Well, the number 951, he's actually, that's probably his area code where he lives in Southern California, but he's done all kinds of racing lately, too, between works racing, which is kind of your sort of desert off-road racing on the West Coast, and Supercross along the way here. But, yeah, he's definitely showing some good speed and good fitness here at the end of this Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship.
Surratt had an 11th in a moto at Unadilla, but now he's aiming for single digits, running in 8th. And look, we know that there's a lot of talent in this 450 class that's not here right now. Chase Sexton's out for the weekend with illness. Justin Barsha's out. Marvin Muscan out. He has COVID. So we're missing some talent. But No one's going to care. You say you got a top 10 as you watch Max Anstey come through down the 34. If you're a privateer and you say you finished 8th in a moto, you don't need to put an asterisk next to it. No. You got 8th. It's still impressive. Here is Anstey on the number 34. He would be next in line 9th, and then behind him would be Bogle. And Anstey, on this Twisted Tea Suzuki team the last 2 years, he announced last week after the race that he appreciates the team. They gave him a shot here in America, the Englishman, to come back to the United States. He had gone back home for about 10 years, but he will be moving on to another team next year. I think we're looking for Bogle here. There's a couple of lap riders, and, well, that's a pretty big gap. That's not Bogle either.
No, that rider's missing his front number plate. Something's gone wrong there. This could be him.
All right, there is Bogle. Now, Bogle, I saw him getting taped up this morning on his ribs on the right side. I said, looks like he got shot. And he said, actually, I took my teammate Joey Savacci's foot peg to the ribs. It hurts. I don't even want to know what it is. I'm going to race today anyway. Savacci's not here with illness. That's why privateer Kevin Moran's actually got called up. He's the teammate of Bogle for the weekend. As we watch Ferrandis go around, Moran's just getting back into racing after some injuries. Normally with the privateer journey Teddy Park's team. Ferrandis throwing a leg off.
Yeah, maybe a team member or somebody out there that he caught out of the corner of his eye. He's definitely enjoying it, as he should. I mean, he's got 13 seconds over Roczen.
Wow, that is an alarming lead.
13 seconds, and it happened all in about 10 minutes.
Absolutely, they were close.
I mean, he's about 2.5 seconds a lap faster than Roczen right now. I mean, when you're the guy, you're the guy. It's like everything's working. Your fitness is there, your mindset and confidence is there, and he's going out executing another great race. Throws a big whip here for all the fans at Hangtown.
Well, an amazing story that he and his crew have put together, and really there's no secrets. It's just grit. This guy just works. He says he believes harder than anyone, and it's hard to argue right now. And his mechanic, I was talking to Alex Campbell, his mechanic last week. So with that move of the team going to Georgia and Florida, after High Point in June, he left his wife, who's still in California. Didn't see her for 2 months. And putting in 90 hours a week, working on both the practice and the race bikes. A lot of the family members of Star Racing didn't get to reunite with their family until last week when we had a race in Southern California. That's the level of sacrifice that everyone has put together to put together this championship. And the train keeps rolling. No pressure at all. Doesn't have to win. Does it anyway. Dylan Ferrandis, a dominant win in Moto 1 here at Hangtown.
Yeah, he's feeling good about that one. Pressure's off from the title. Can just go out and just purely have fun racing your motocross bike.
Oh, that's good to see. Ferrandis soaking it in.
All the VIP area right here, just cheering him on.
And I'll tell you, he was not a fan favorite going back 2 years ago. I don't know if he's the rider that everyone's making signs for and banners for at the races, but the level of respect from the crowd and from his competitors like Roczen, you can really see how much that has grown through the year. It's hard not to salute a good, hard effort like that. We'll talk to Ferrandis when we're done.
And Roczen, they're down at the podium. We'll hear from these top three in just a moment. What a race, and that was just Moto number 1 of the 450 class. They'll be back in just about an hour, and they've got two 250 motos to go, and the 250 championship is up for grabs. Has been whittled down to just 2. The number 18 of Jet Lawrence and the number 32 of Justin Cooper who will battle this one out. But the top 3 in the
The Carson City Motorsports Hangtown Classic is brought to you by Honda Power Sports. Life is better on a Honda. And by Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive. That's Sacramento, California, the state capital. We're about 25 minutes away. Rancho Cordova, California. Hangtown, or as the locals consider it, Prairie City, the Prairie City State Recreational Vehicle Area. And Hangtown's the classic name for an old track in California. We hold the Hangtown Classic race here at Prairie City. Whatever you want to call it, it's just another moto win for Dylan Ferrandis. And he made this one look pretty easy. Sent it down to the podium with Ashley Raynard.
Yes, another moto win for the newly crowned champ last weekend. Dylan, does it feel any different knowing that you're the champion and getting this moto win?
I think I just can ride without pressure now, and I can just have fun on the bike, which sometimes as professional it's not easy to have. So yeah, I guess I just had some fun today. I was chasing Ken, not trying to push too hard, and yeah, I had some better line, and I just find a way to pass, and then I don't know, I just felt good on the track, I had fun. So when you ride like this, you know, you're already, I mean, you're always fast. When having fun on the bike, he's getting fast, so he's being fast. So yeah, that's what I made, and yeah, I don't know, it's just cool. I just never won here at Hangtown, so be the first on the line here was quite important for me. And yeah, again, my bike is awesome. The Yamaha Star Racing Monster Energy team is just badass and the best in the industry. And yeah, all the people that helped me, my sponsor, my wife, my trainer, everybody, and yeah, it's just cool to be here.
Congratulations on another moto win on the season, you guys. He always has goals, even though he already crowned champion.
You can sense the pressure is off.
Yeah, and you know, he said, I actually had fun racing my motorcycle, and you don't always do that.
That's pretty cool.
And I said, it looked fun.
It did. All right, so here we go. Here's our Lucas Oil race recap. This is fun. A 3-rider shootout for the whole shot between Ferrandis, Webb, and Roczen. They give it to Roczen. Jeff Emig would like to argue that. Roczen would then go to the inside and fully establish the lead here. Then Ferrandis almost went down. Yeah.
That was really close. I didn't quite catch.